you. Is that
Thank you so much, Shalane, and thank you to Ben as well. Thank you for allowing us to, walk alongside you in this journey and to witness it. Um, so Shalane, as you now step out of this conversation, I'm curious to know, what is it that stands out for you from the conversation?
It was so I'm a student at the moment. I'm in core level, and so obviously I'm doing all this learning, and I tried to anticipate how the conversation was going to go, which you could never really do. I think, yeah, it was just such an easy, fluid conversation. I don't know. I'm still honestly stunned by "it's okay." Like, it honestly bothers me how simple it is. Because from a solutioner perspective, right, it's like, oh, I can figure that out for myself. Are you kidding me? And so again, that comes in the pardon myself. But it's okay. Because I got to go on this really cool journey of discovery. And yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And just, yeah, I was really able to connect with my body and my emotions in the space. And so, yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Shalane. And, I can see your joy in the session and now as well. And as you're letting land what came for you, as, what seems to me is that there are two simple words that where you have found new meaning that you're now contributing. And looking at them in a different way. So, you mentioned that you're a student as well. And I'm really curious to know, being a student and now being a client, what is it that you are appreciating about our transformative framework?
Definitely how easy it is to remain curious, but in a way that is within a process. And so one of the things that I can never get over is what positive difference will XYZ have for you, or what makes XYZ important to you, because it feeds my level of curiosity, because I just like to ask questions and want to know more, so I can ask it in a way that is actually going to unlock something, and then to see it unlock something as well is always just such, I get such a kick out of it, and it's such a joy to see. So yeah, I just really appreciate that the framework. And I was in my session earlier today in my practical lab, I had the experience of being a coach today. And one thing that I can definitely stand by is follow the process. Just follow the process. And you can, until you do it and see what it does in terms of creating a transformational conversation, it just blows my mind. And yeah, it's a wonderful way to journey with someone.
Wow. So it seems like there are a lot of revelations you're having today, being a coach, a student, a client.
It's been a big day.
If it's okay, we want to be a koala and jump on your back and to get the revelations with you.
That's okay.
So I'm really curious now to know from you, what is it, as we say that coaching is a partnership and a co-creation, what is it that you're now, in the light of this conversation you just had, are appreciating about this partnership between the coach and the client?
I've always, it's quite funny, because I always viewed coaching as me helping someone. And that helping someone is very much driven by my solutioning mindset. I'm going to help you, and I'm going to help you fix this. Fix it. Whereas going through this process and going through this training, I realized that it has absolutely nothing to do with me. nothing to do with me. It is really an opportunity for me to step back, take a back seat, and have the client have center stage. It's about the client finding the aha moment. It's about the client finding their own solution. It's got nothing to do with me. But what I can do is I can help you get there. I can help you navigate, these different avenues that you're finding yourself on. But ultimately where you end up, it's still entirely up to you. And so that has been really nice, because in some sense it takes the pressure off, because I don't really have to do anything other than ask a whole lot of questions and be curious, and I can do that every day, all day. So that's been really big for me. Yeah.
And so now, from the light of this conversation today, maybe what is something that you want to share with us that has really maybe touched you? I don't know if it was a moment or something, a learning that really was surfacing up for you that you'd like to share.
It was definitely, there was a moment where I went silent. And that was like, I could feel myself sinking into my body. I was like, oh, I need to feel something. It's for me personally, it's quite an emotional space to be in right now. Just because, like I said, I connect with things logically quite easily. And so I do get overwhelmed by when I'm connected to my emotions. I'm like, oh, this is all new. And so I'm definitely I feel like I'm going to be spending a good couple of hours just decompressing and really internalizing that it's okay. And what does that actually really feel like? Because once I know that, and once that actually settles in, it'll be interesting to see what will happen. I feel like it will be really cool and amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing. It seems like you've gotten the taste of something that you really want to enjoy. So thank you for sharing all your learnings and this experience with us, and for allowing us to witness this beautiful conversation with you. So please enjoy this learning space. Now it's your time to relax and allow the learning to sink in. So thank you so much on behalf of everybody from all of us. And yeah, I'm going to pass on to Ben again.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Shalane. No, as that, will you be kind enough to read for us the contribution
Sure.
by the group?
Sure.
Thank you.
So what stood out for you today? The power of simplicity of the process that evoke powerful awareness. What you know, the bullets, how the client thinking was separated in parts from the very beginning. Inviting the client to tune themselves inwards to hear what their body is telling them, looking less to external solutions. Marathon metaphor, joyful nature of the conversation. Powerful in boiling down such a complex life situation to a gracious moment in such a short session. The great use of metaphors to guide the conversation. The coach's recognition of the client's domain, thinking and doing, and interrupting with language to get the client to the much needed feeling domain. Metaphors of marathons and leagues, going with the client and living in the moment to get the most out of the client's inner feelings. I like how the focus was arrived at and how actions and second layer was defined. Finding true happiness, simplicity of the process, the simplicity of it's okay, the metaphorical navigation that led to a realization for the client. Avoid falling into the trap of finding solution with the coachee, but keep curiosity in the discovering what is the real issue. It's really more than okay, staying true to oneself. The coach's humility and not knowing and acknowledging that it's tough and challenging. Amazing, because I always thought that it's not acceptable. I learned how this is so powerful. The clear acknowledgement of what the client knows and building the conversation from there into the possibilities. The powerful question of, as you think of keep on going, is that expression a positive or negative experience? This stood out to me as the coach was able to land the client into a deeper level of reflecting on what she was saying. How the coach was able to pull it back in a very structured way so that the client could see herself and easily choose on what to focus on. It's okay. How the coach demonstrated respect for the client's capacities. When he wished to point out what was not known by the client, he carefully made an offer. May I? It's okay to challenge the client in a positive way. Metaphors don't always resonate. Coach approaches without attachment, but this time also validated the running metaphor before moving ahead with it. I really enjoyed the metaphors and how they helped the client to see herself and feel it clearly. I really love the way the coach was able to put together exactly what the client said slowly and be so helpful. Reach and it's okay. The coach's masterful craft in using the metaphor to open up the client's mind to evoke greater awareness. How metaphors work. The use of pause to allow for internalization. The ease of the conversation, how well Ben articulated in a concise manner what was occurring for Shalane. I partnered her in this process and leaving her with the powerful insight. The science of the ACC framework has been demonstrated elegantly by our coach. The way Ben was able to draw Shalane out to help her see that it's okay not to be all every time. There were some awkward moments when I thought, oh boy, how is he going to navigate that? He did it so effortlessly. The impact of a simple conversation that uses the science to a client to see the effect is amazing. The coach's demonstration of curiosity, a joyful conversation that demonstrates the power of reframing and using metaphors and creating some stop points to enable the coachee to connect with herself. I am in awe when I observe how the coach split the hair. It's okay and reach out. This is awesome. Bulleting back at the beginning of the session. The manner and precision in which the coach bulleted back the client's contributions and how the coach was managing the client's state of mind. At first glance, the client shared so much confusion and struggle for the perfection. Amazingly, the coach led with compassion and feeling the client to narrow it all down to it's okay, using simple handles, walking on a thin line above lost frame. Wow. As someone who's thinking of starting my coaching journey, I'm in awe of how Ben maintained his empathy without feeling overwhelmed. Also, when Shalane had that realization how composed she was, seems so easy, but I can see it takes a lot of training. Relating the who and what by versing to be okay, symmetric to reach out. The presence of the coach and capability to observe the whole of the client. The conversation is beautiful, like a dance with the metaphor of leaking, really helpful for the client to trigger actually feeling. And then step by step, moving to self-learning. The coach's invitation to invite the client to be in a state of mind that will support her to be present and attuned. Amazing to observe how the coach can observe how the client is thinking. I can witness the science of integrative whole taught in the advanced training and how the coach artfully observed the various parts of the story and used it to construct the inquiry. The astuteness of the coach. The coach recognized the client's strong point and highlighted them, amazing coach presence and cultivating trust and safety. I could relate to the client's concern. I was curious to see how the conversation would go. I'm blown away how the coach framed the questions to unlock the client's awareness. Being curious and having a learning mindset is the key here for the coach. I also sense that Shalane has done this before, so it would be interesting to see how long it takes for someone who is new to coaching. I like how adult the conversation was really. Awareness piece. Coach supporting the client to be in a reflective state and maintaining that state in order for the client to understand their awareness. use of language, pace, and delivery. The bulleting was spot on, and it seemed to be almost like dots and dashes, which punctuated the client's thinking domain. Leveraging on the client's inclination to visuals and imagery. Multiple metaphors, running, machine, leakage, resonated well with the client and led to reflections of it's okay to reach out and accept things. It was lovely to see how simple it looked to the client and at end versus at the beginning. The risk the coach took to identify a metaphor that the client could relate to, which allowed the coach to focus on leakage, connection to self, exhaustion. The question, what is stirring in your heart, allowed the client to sink in more deeply. Clarification questions. Does it sounds to do or to be? Is it positive or negative experience? What is stirring in your heart? Such a powerful question at the right time really landed with the client. Very positive conversation, fun, removing the drama from the topic, verbally and non-verbally. The way the coach cumulatively connected the different parts of the conversation.
Wow.
Wow.
What can I say? Well, I can say short coaching conversation, the longest comments make so far. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Great. So we're going to quickly turn that. It sounds like the learning has done. There's so much learning that has been reviewed through this contribution. And I thank everyone for actively participating in sharing what stood out for you. So this is what I'm proposing. I'm going to open the next room where we can get into small groups to talk a little bit more about what you're observing and what you think the coach is observing. Okay, that means I would love to hear your observations on what you think the coach is observing. Well, for those of you who are planning to go further in your skill set, well, this is called layered learning. Okay, so we were going to do that later on in the breakout room. So while I'm going out to make the room, maybe as a there, would you be able to hold the space by inviting maybe one or two faculty members to give a big overview comments and then encourage as many, well, all are welcome to join us in the learning sessions. Okay, this is just appetizer. Okay, the main course will be served in the next room. So without much further ado, I'm going to quickly pass the time over to Azadeh. I'm going to make you the host first.
Hey, thank you so much, Ben.